Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so as an enterprise strategy consultant, my everyday job is to basically cut right through the massive amount of tech hype out there. We want to find the actual measurable ROI in the future of autonomous labor. Now, if you've been watching the market at all lately, you know pretty much every single company is selling some kind of grand vision. But today, we aren't looking at your basic run-of-the-mill chatbots. No, we are auditing the deployment of autonomous agents that are genuinely designed to do real, hard work. We're going to look at this whole thing through the lens of a complete workflow transition, and we'll thoroughly examine both the physical and the digital realms to see where the real value actually sits. So, here is our agenda for today's audit. We'll start with the AI labor divide, move into physical versus digital agents, talk about automating business workflows, run through a case study on market analysis, and finally, wrap up with agent deployment and safety. All right, Section 1, the AI labor divide. Let's dive in. Right now, we are witnessing a massive dual-track transition of labor. It's really like two completely different frontiers of automation. On one side, you've got Jeff Bezos stepping out of retirement to launch a startup called Prometheus. And his vision here is an artificial general engineer specifically for the physical world. This system trains on physics simulations and real engineering data to completely optimize a system's design way before the products ever actually hit the assembly line. But then, on the flip side, we have Chinese company Moonshot AI and their tool KimiWork. Now, this is a local digital desktop agent focused entirely on digital workflows. We're talking summarizing thick PDFs, handling mind-numbing manual spreadsheet data entry, and automating finance tasks like right now. So one is this huge long-term play to automate physical engineering, while the other is ready to replace your manual digital data entry today. Now, Bezos claims that these physical AI tools are going to create labor scarcity, which he says will ultimately raise the standard of living. But let's put our neutral auditor hats on for a second. We have to look at actual corporate behavior, right? His own company, Amazon, laid off 30,000 people over the past year while simultaneously leaning heavily into automation. So it's our job to figure out if this more jobs promise is reality or if it's just a fantastic visionary pitch designed to soothe market anxieties while companies quietly shift toward autonomous labor. Look at this staggering number. The promised efficiency jump for physical labor here is just wild. Prometheus aims to take a massive hardware project, something that would traditionally take, say, 100 human engineers working for 10 straight years, and compress that whole thing down to just 10 engineers completing the entire project in one single year. Literally a 10x efficiency jump. If they actually pull this off, it entirely shifts the operational bottleneck. The constraint is no longer human execution or manual prototyping. The constraint simply becomes machine simulation and raw computing power. Moving on to Section 2, automating digital workflows. So let's pivot to the digital side, because honestly, this is where the immediate return on investment lies for your office right now. The absolutely crucial concept for enterprise operations here is the agent swarm. You know how with most AI tools, your proprietary corporate data has to leave your computer and travel to some external server. Well, the agent swarm architecture behind KimiWork operates strictly locally, right on your device. It can take a complex workflow, split it up, and deploy up to 300 parallel subagents to simultaneously execute research, extract data, and format it. So you aren't just prompting a single conversational bot anymore. You are commanding a massive, localized digital workforce to do the heavy lifting for you.
All right, Section 3, Case Study, Market Analysis. Let's see this in action.
Let's say you need to analyze Germany's tournament chances for the 2026 World Cup. By strictly following these 4 steps, the autonomous agent replaces hours of manual web browsing and spreadsheet entry. Step 1, you just input a detailed prompt asking for squad injuries, historical data, and a probability chart. Step 2 is vital. You've got to set the permissions to full access. In Step 3, the tool uses its browser extension, WebBridge, to deploy that agent swarm we talked about to browse the live internet. And finally, Step 4, it synthesizes the whole shebang. It doesn't just spit out a text block. It hands you a clean, interactive web dashboard mapping market odds against model predictions, plus a polished 5-slide pitch deck, complete with a bull case, base case, and bear case. I mean, what used to take a junior analyst 3 days of manual aggregation is now completely finished before your coffee even gets cold. And the true power of these local agents, it all comes down to their integrations. KimiWork is built specifically for finance teams. It directly plugs into professional tools like Yahoo Finance for market data, the World Bank for economic research, and Binance for crypto analysis. This specific integration is what makes it a real game changer and entirely enterprise-ready. The sub-agents pull live economic metrics directly. This completely bypasses hours of your analysts manually copying, pasting, and aggregating data, which frees up your human capital to focus on the actual strategy instead of tedious data entry. Which brings us to Section 4, Agent Deployment and Safety. Look, no consultant worth their salt would ever recommend deploying these highly capable agents without a really strict security audit first. The secret to making this work securely is permission gating. If you leave the permissions on default, the agent just halts repeatedly to ask yes or no for every single subtask. It completely defeats the purpose of automation and gets annoying very fast. But shift to full access and Kimi work, and it runs those complex financial workflows autonomously from start to finish. And if your engineers are coding with the open source Kimi code model, they need to enable YOLO mode, which is for sure every corporate compliance officer's favorite new acronym, right? It allows the AI to execute multi-step coding tasks completely uninterrupted. Knowing exactly when to apply which permission level is how you actually manage your operational risk while keeping your output super high. Finally, if you want to integrate these local AI agents safely into your existing office workflows, companies absolutely must enforce these 3 essential safety protocols. Number 1, keep your data locally on device to prevent external server leaks. Number 2, implement explicit permission gating, just like we discussed with the full access and YOLO modes. And number 3, ensure verifiable privacy environments. We can actually draw some direct inspiration here from Apple's new AI approach. They built custom foundational models and a private cloud compute structure that guarantees data is never stored, and outside experts can verify those privacy promises at any time. Your enterprise deployment has to demand that exact same level of trust. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to audit your own operations. Think about the 10x efficiency jumps happening right now in physical engineering and those 300 agent swarms tackling complex digital finance tasks in literal seconds. So ask yourself, with physical and digital agents scaling up at this unprecedented speed, is your current manual workflow a true competitive advantage? Or is it just the legacy cost dragging your business down? Because the future of labor isn't just some grand theory being debated by billionaires on a stage anymore. It is already running locally on the desktop sitting right next to you.